This is it right here.
Combining a team of reporters, columnists, and commentators.
Don't you ever talk about me!
Are you serious?
Jack Ebling has brought thought-provoking discussion.
What are you doing?
That's a damn coaching mistake!
Opinion.
The customer is the one who decides when the future gets here.
Oh, no!
The ship is on fire!
You have to check the report.
Are you kidding me?
That game was fixed.
And overall infotainment.
I'll take Jim Harbaugh.
What has he done?
Crazy cootie coming at you.
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
Thanks, big fella.
Don't you ever come back here again.
No arguments. Those are called ass tunes.
So buckle up.
You talking to me?
It's time for The Drive with Jack Ebling.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Yes, indeed, everyone. Welcome to episode 3023, your Thursday edition of Indeed The Drive. This is hopefully your favorite masshole / producer, Boston Rob Bennett, pulling double duty today, not only in the producer's chair, but in the hot seat as well, as the Hall of Fame host of this show is in Buffalo as we speak, front and center for Michigan State and North Dakota State. Happy March Madness, everyone. Got a great 2 hours for you, and I can't think of a better way to kick off this show than one of the most versatile, I think is the best word, talent for sure, in this market, in this realm, around this state of Michigan. Despite being a Montreal Canadiens fan, Sean Belegian kicks off the show with me today. Sean, how are you?
What a great game the other night in Montreal, huh, Rob?
I don't remember that happening, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. You know I'm going to talk hockey with you, but got to ask you right now, as how's your bracket doing right now? Are you busted already?
Isn't that funny? It's the first day. They know what they're doing. This is one of the best 2 days. Of both these days are two of the best days of the sports year. They really are. Yeah. You go to work or you come home from work, and I've just been sitting at home all afternoon watching the games, and it's fantastic. You can't help but get caught up in high points, even though it came at the expense of a Big Ten team. And obviously what's going on with Duke and Siena right now, I mean, it's a beautiful thing, man. It really is.
It is. And to be quite frank with everybody out there, and quite honest, I don't know how many people are actually listening to this show right now live on the Spotlight Media app, but we're going to have some fun, and we're going to have a good time talking sports. And thank you again for joining me, pulling away from the TV set, but because, my goodness, we have seen some exciting basketball, and you mentioned High Point, probably the biggest upset as of this moment. You mentioned Duke. I know there's another half to go, but my goodness, how surprising is that? Despite the injuries Duke has had.
Heck yeah, it's still surprising. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, there's a reason, like you said, that so many people didn't pick Duke to go all the way. And I mean, let's face it, isn't that one of the rights of this time of year, is just about the entire nation rooting against Duke? So, that makes it even better. But, it's funny. I spent some time last night kind of perusing some of the quote-unquote experts, and obviously next to nobody was taking Duke, and I understand why. And
sure.
But I don't think anybody saw a 16-1. As you mentioned, there's a lot of basketball to be played, and an 11-point lead is not exactly insurmountable. But
an 11.
No doubt about it.
You see these underseeds, and they might have like a 3 or 4 or 5 point lead against these upper seeds, right? And we're not even mentioning a 16-1, right? But to have an 11-point lead, a 16 seed on a 1 seed at halftime, I'd have to go back and look, but I don't remember a 16 seed. I'd have to probably talk with Jack Ebling, the human sports thesaurus, encyclopedia, but I don't remember a 16 seed having such a lead at halftime.
No, you know what? We've seen a couple sneak away with victories, but not like this. I mean, you're absolutely right. I don't remember anything like this. No, sir.
Yeah, but plenty of basketball still to go. But how many brackets do you fill out?
I just do one now.
What?
I was one of those guys. I was one of those guys, Rob, like not too long ago. You know, I was in one with my buddies. I was one with my wife. I was one at work and everything. Now I'm at one minimum. That's just it. Because you know what? As I've gotten older, it's almost like fantasy football. You know, I spend more time looking at my brackets for my fantasy football team than I did actually watching the darn game. And the piece I'm just kind of letting go and, you know, I'll check it every few minutes and stuff like that is awesome.
Yeah, and then I hear the fantasy football is a perfect example with people with like 10, 8 fantasy football teams. You end up rooting against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, Rob, I think at one time I had 6. I think the highest I got to was 6.
Wow.
Yeah, come on, absurdity. I say this all the time in regards to that, and I mean, please consider the source. I'm a guy that did a fantasy show for many years.
Yeah.
When I stopped the COVID year because I was like, I'm not spending this money if a dude, you know, is out for a week and thing. I'm not. It was the greatest decision I've ever made. Like I went back to, you know, I mean, you're talking. My first league was 1989, for goodness sake. So. Like the next year when I wasn't in any leagues, I just sat there going, "This is awesome! This is absolutely." Yes. I can't envision myself jumping in another league. Honestly, I really can't.
Yeah, I fully agree. I actually had a league with friends and family and brothers, you know, and we had it for about 5 and coworkers at the time for about 5 or 6 years. I was ahead of that league, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I stepped away for about 2 or 3 years without doing any, and I just loved the sport again. It seems like I love the sport again, right?
Yep, that's exactly it.
Of course, now Jack Ebling has dragged me back into the media one over here, which I've won. Which I will say I've won the championship 2 out of the last 3 years, but I digress. But anyway, well, let's talk about some football. We'll get to all the more basketball. I want to get your thoughts on, obviously, Michigan State basketball before we end this interview. And other things as well. But we mentioned football and the Detroit Lions in this offseason, and, of course, we saw the free agency. I just want to get your overall thoughts on what you think and how you think the Lions handled free agency as we stand right now.
It's not a surprise. I mean, this is kind of Brad doing Brad things, you know, and it's so funny. A lot of times, you know, before this stuff starts, you know, you have people wondering aloud, are they going to do this? Are you going to do that? I think we have enough time with Brad at the helm now where we've kind of figured out his tendencies, right? He's just not going to put a lot of value in that other edge spot. He just isn't. He's going to find a guy to put in there. He's going to find a couple guys to put in there. I think he's going to spend his money elsewhere. He'll usually try to make a splash, you know, and fill an important need, and I think he did that with Cade Mays. And then he's trying to find some bargains. And I don't want that to come across as condescending, Rob, because I think some of these bargains can work. I think Pacheco, I think that can work. I mean that's not a bad thing. I think BJ can work. I don't think that's a bad thing. But it appears to me that, you know, you're still trying to figure out what one of the linebacking spots going to be. I think the defensive backfield, in particular the safety room, is just one big question mark. Yeah. I mean, we don't know. He went and got a couple guys. And then when you get to the safeties, okay, Kirby, how you doing? You know,
how you feeling?
Brian, Branch,
right? Yeah, how you feeling?
Branch, how quick are you going to be back? You know, so those are giant question marks. And my jaw would drop if he didn't grab a tackle. You know, and it might be a plug and play rookie type of situation. Yeah. We'll wait and see how that plays out. But all in all, not surprising, not disappointing. There were a lot more holes on this team than I think people wanted to admit, especially with some of the guys leaving.
Injured, right? Well, that and injuries, too, right? I mean, these weren't... Right. I mean, we're still waiting on Kirby Joseph. Hopefully, like you said, Brian Branch dealing, you know, with those things still. So hopefully this offseason we'll see a healthier Detroit Lions team throughout the season because, and it's not an excuse, and Jack has made this statement, and you've probably made this statement on this show. I mean... The depth of this team has been tested for the last couple of years simply because of injuries.
It's to the point of absurdity. I mean, what happened in 2024 is, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, you look back at it, and you know, you see the injuries around the team, and then last year certainly didn't help as well. But yeah, no doubt about it, through injury, through attrition, through a myriad of reasons, this is a team that I think had a few more holes than people expected. Now, this is a good year to take advantage of that. I'm a firm believer, Rob. I don't know about you. I'm a firm believer in the fourth-place schedule.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is you can't do it game by game because there's always a team that's going to surprise or anything. But more often than not, when you have that fourth-place schedule, you see teams kind of take advantage of that. And so I think this is a Lions team that's going to build as the year goes on. And, clearly when they get Brian Branch back, whenever that may be, you hear varying things out there, from the Achilles. This could be a team that by the end of the year is a lot better perhaps than they were at the beginning of the year, but this is a good year to do it. I'm not going as far as saying this is a quote-unquote gap year because they still have too many weapons on offense. And if they find somebody that can get a pass rush, because that's the one thing that drove me crazy last year, Rob, you would hear people say, well, what are you talking about? They were fifth in sack or whatever it was. And you were like, well, did you watch the game? That it was a lack of consistency throughout the year, and they were 30th in league in giving quarterbacks time to stay in the pocket. And I always joke, all one has to do is watch a repeat of that Thanksgiving Day game and how much time Jordan Love had in the pocket. It wasn't a consistent pass rush, and I think getting after the quarterback consistently is such an integral part of what the National Football League is today.
You a Max Crosby guy?
I am, but I don't think that was an absolute pipe dream in regards to coming here. And again, for the reason
just because he mentioned he'd like to play here, everybody flew off the handle and thought it was going to happen.
Got it.
Right?
You got it. Brad has shown consistently. I mean, really going back to the trade deadline in 23, he just doesn't put a lot of value in getting an impact guy there. He's going to spend his money elsewhere. In his mind, if he can get that push up the front, and you got obviously a pretty darn good player on one edge, that should allow another guy to eat. And we saw that with AQM last year. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the guy. He had 11 sacks.
11 sacks.
Again, to me, Rob, I think that was misleading a little bit. I really do, because of the fact that just the lack of consistency really, really hurt them.
All right, let's talk some basketball. First, some I don't want to say, heartbreaking news for the Detroit Pistons, right? Cade Cunningham with a collapsed lung, at least early reports as of the last time I checked, a mild collapsed lung, whatever that means. To me, a collapsed lung is a collapsed lung, right? I guess the severity of it. First and foremost, you hope for the young man to be healthy, number one. Never mind basketball, but with something as scary and as, how terrifying that could be, you just want to make sure that the young man is healthy. But from a basketball standpoint, no matter how long he's out for, and they're hoping maybe a couple of weeks, he might be back for the playoffs. We don't know yet the severity officially yet. But, boy, what a kick in the nuts for the Detroit Pistons right now, right?
No, it just is. And, we were talking about it this morning, in Detroit. Why can't you have nice things? It just seems like something always
yeah, I don't mean to laugh, but you're right. But you're right. You're right. Yes.
And Rob, the one thing that I will say, and okay, let's play a game of pretend. Let's say he's back in 4 weeks, okay? That's 4 weeks staying out. It's one thing to be in shape. It's another thing to have the full lung capacity that a world-class athlete has.
Yes.
Out for 4 weeks. I mean, I don't think this is a case where, okay, Cade's back, everything's okay, snap your finger and everything's okay. I don't think that's the case. I think it's going to take him a little time to get back into rhythm, a little time definitely to get the lung capacity back and get into the swing of things. So that's what disappoints me the most about this is it could be 4 weeks, and hopefully he's back by the start of the playoff. But then, how much longer than that do we really get Cade Cunningham back?
How much basketball Cade Cunningham, right?
Exactly.
Basketball
the guy who was a legitimate MVP candidate. He really was. He was a legitimate MVP candidate. So that's what really concerns me. And don't look now. Your Celtics are certainly one of the teams to beat.
Sure.
The Cavs got better at the deadline. I still don't fear the Knicks too much, but famous last words, but we'll wait and see how it works out. But all of a sudden, the seemingly stranglehold that they had on the Eastern Conference with just, a few games back, it certainly looks in peril.
Is this Jaron Duran's team now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think so. And that's the one thing, Rob. The good thing is one of the keys to this team so far this year, as you well know, is you're getting it from a multitude of guys.
Yes.
You're getting depth performance every single night. How many times you look at the box score and, oh my goodness, 5 guys were in double digits. Now, that's made a lot easier when you have a guy like Cade taking pressure off some other spots and everything. Now a team doesn't necessarily have to zero in on a guy. So let's see how it plays out, This is a great opportunity for some guys to step up, no doubt.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. But like I said, hopefully he will come back healthy, number one, for his own well-being for sure. A lot of NBA basketball still to be played. It's just nice to hear for Detroit Pistons fans what a season it's been so far, and to get back the way they have, and to be a quote-unquote contender, with Cade, which was a wide-open, Eastern Conference. With Cade, not knowing when Cade has come back, this could be even a more wide-open Eastern Conference. But still good to see the Pistons firmly into playoff conversation. So hopefully you just want to see them get 100%.
Well, it's so weird. They haven't won a series in 18 years. I mean, it's crazy when you think about that. They have not won a playoff series
and there's some people around these parts, Sean, that think, obviously with Cade being healthy, that there's no reason for them that they couldn't reach the, at least the Eastern Conference Finals when you say that.
That's
right?
where my mind was, honestly.
Really?
When
okay.
You kind of set, when you set the pace that they set, and I know everybody thinks it's supposed to be linear, and there, it's not linear. I mean, sometimes it is, no doubt. Sometimes it's a series of steps, and sometimes teams skip some steps. And one of the great old bits, it seems like I've heard it for 20 years, is the East is weak. I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think that Boston is weak. I don't think that Cleveland is weak. The Knicks have always been soft, but maybe they can give you some trouble, especially.
Say that again. Say that again. Say that.
The Knicks have always been soft.
That's right.
It's in their DNA, for goodness sake.
Yeah,
so, that's what frustrates you. But we'll wait and see how it plays out. And like you said, we have to wait and see exactly what happens with Cade.
All right, let's get back on the college hardwood here as March Madness continues. Michigan State tipping off around 4:27 p.m. Against North Dakota State. Your thoughts on the draw for Michigan State? Give me your thoughts on the ceiling. I'm not going to ask you for who's going to win what and what the score is going to be. The ceiling for Michigan State, and if you're willing to share, how far did you have them going in your bracket?
First of all, this region, it's the blue blood region.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, take a look. That I was surprised, and Rob, I hope you know me well enough, and the listeners know me well enough. I am rooting so hard for Michigan State. I can't even put that into words. Okay, and I say Tom Izzo's a treasure. All of that. Okay, I was surprised how many national pundits had Michigan State going very, very far in the tournament. I really was. Because
so like the championship game, and
right.
Yes.
Was I missing something? And I know I'm not even trying to be funny. It's like, were they watching a different team down the stretch than I was?
Yeah.
That would be the. Are you basing this on? Well, it's Izzo's time of year.
Yes.
He's done it so many. Or are you basing this on this particular team? Because if you're basing it on this particular team, pardon me if I don't share that optimism. Now, there have been years where 2005 comes to mind, the Paul Davis year, even the year they went to the final at Ford Field. Legitimately, who thought they were going to go that far?
Even last year when they went to the Elite Eight, right?
Right. So you're not ever going to rule it out. I was kind of taken aback because it was almost like I think they were basing it on Michigan State's name as opposed to, what we've seen the past few weeks. I have them out in Sweet 16. I hope and pray I'm wrong. But yeah, to your point, I was amazed how many people had Michigan State going to the final game. And who was it? But gosh, which guy was it? Was it Seth Greenberg had Michigan versus Michigan State?
Yes.
My goodness gracious, that's Armageddon. Could you imagine what this would be like if
now,
something like that happened?
We could see that in hockey. I think we'd have a better chance of seeing that in hockey. We'll get to that in a minute here. But I think it was a little. But hey, that's just what March Madness is. What it's all about. This is Tom Izzo's. This is Tom Izzo's time, right? And most certainly, never count them out. But boy, this bracket. Yeah, you're right. It is a blue blood bracket for sure. I don't want to say bracket of death. To bring a soccer term into this thing, World Cup term, but my goodness, it is quite the bracket indeed. And of course, Michigan State will again tip off here in just momentarily at 4:27. And of course, now I'm going to get obviously real quick because I want to end this with hockey because that's a passion of mine as well as yours. But quickly, spring training for the Detroit Tigers. Are you even paying attention to it? Anything catch your fancy with what you're seeing? Kevin McGonigal, right?
You got it.
The prodigal son, right? But boy, he is showing why he is, if not the top, but top 2 prospects in all of Major League Baseball.
And I like how he got it back. He got off to that hot start. And then people said, "Oh, here it comes," and then he got it right back. That's a huge sign. You got to bring him up. My goodness gracious, you got to bring him up. There's no reason not to.
He's forced you not to.
Yeah, 100%. And Verlander's outing the other day because listen, JV finished the season so strong last year, but people have to remember this isn't the same guy.
No.
Okay, it's not the same guy. And you know what? The way that I look at it, Rob, if you get an average version of JV, I'm happy as a pig in slop. I really
get 4 or 5 solid innings from the guy. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for, right?
Be a nice depth starter.
Yes.
Be your 3-4. I'll be so happy with that. We'll wait and see. The division is doable again, although. I know a lot of people are really talking up the Royals, and so that'll be really interesting to see how it plays itself out. But again, it's what can you do in October? Hey, it's been cute the last couple of years, but can you find a way to take that next step and apply that quote unquote linear growth that so many people expect?
Who needs to out of who's on the team? Right. Well, I don't want to say veterans, but who's going to make the team. Who really needs to step up this year? Is it a Colt Keith? Right. A healthy Verling's going to help.
I would say I don't have any designs on Parker Meadows that coming together for Parker Meadows. I just don't. And
it's a shame.
Yeah, it really is. It's too bad because that's the type of guy that you want to root for. It's Colt Keith. I don't think there's any two ways about that. It's Colt Keith.
All right. Plenty of time throughout the spring and summer to talk Detroit Tigers baseball. Real quick before we let you go, got to talk some hockey. What is going on with the Red Wings? My goodness. How do you encapsulate this season so far? It was good to see them. A lot of people were happy, very happy that Steve Yzerman went out and made a big move. I think a big move, getting Justin Falk, the defenseman. Your thoughts on that and just the microcosm that has become this season? Another roller coaster ride, it seems.
It's incredible. It really is, and I liked that move. I think you improved your defense score.
Yes,
I think they have been too reliant, and I'm going to try my best not to get too geeky. I think they have been too reliant on John Gibson, and John Gibson has been. This has been an exception to the rule year for the John Gibson that we've seen in recent years, and. When you dig a little deeper and you look at some of the metrics and things like that, they're not very good 5-on-5. They're not very good on the power play. They're not very good shorthanded. And so what's got everything skewed is they're having a really good year out of John Gibson. And I think what you've seen the last couple of weeks, although I think the swoon had started a little bit earlier, but you take away a couple of guys up the middle, you take away Kopp, you take away Dylan Larkin, and they're absolutely a different team. I mean, and in fairness, you do that to most teams, and that's the way it is. But, this is a tough time to do it because Rick Bowness, since he's took over, my goodness gracious, Columbus just refuses. They're 16-2-4 since this guy's taken over. It's incredible. And, obviously Buffalo's been on the heater. And,
yes.
The Habs, they were on a heater until they had a couple of bad losses over the weekend and everything. So
Bruins are hanging around. I mean,
they are
hanging around.
I know I said it to you a couple months ago. I'll say it again. Sweeney must practice witchcraft or something. I don't know how they're doing it.
I don't know how they're doing it this year, but they're doing it.
They're doing it. If I were a betting man, I think they make the playoff. I really do.
So do the Bruins make the playoffs and Detroit doesn't?
Jack's going to be mad at me, but yes, I think that's how it's going to play out. I think Columbus is going to jump up. I really think Columbus is going to jump up and replace the Red Wings. Right now, especially with Larkin out, and I know he skated today, but he's still, there's a little way away. If you lose tonight, then you got Boston on Saturday, then you got Ottawa next Tuesday. Those are
huge
3
games.
Huge games, and you could be without Dylan Larkin for all 3 games, and boy, that's a dagger. It really is.
How proud are you right now being a USA hockey fan? Men, women, and paraplegic gold medals. I don't think Jack's had you on the show since that's happened, but that has never happened. All 3 gold medal. I was working in the Ontario Hockey League about 20 years ago, and I don't remember what barn I was in, but it was funny because a lot of the Canadian media were talking about, well, what are those silly Americans doing with this NTDP thing? And you know what? Now we see what the silly Americans were doing with that NTDP thing. And they just keep churning out guys each and every year. I think it's a tried, true, and tested formula. And obviously they've become a tremendous power. No doubt about it. It does your heart good. Memory maker for a long time. Yep. I mean, Jack was talking about, when we were kind of comparing it to the Miracle in 80, I don't think it even compares to that, but that doesn't take away from this generation's. I don't want to put it on Miracle, but yeah, I guess you could, right? I mean, I don't want to compare because it's so different, right?
100%.
But
I don't think anything does. When I hear people even a 16-1. When I hear people you're comparing college athletes against college athletes, and what you're doing when you're talking about Miracle on Ice is you're comparing college athletes
to pros,
to full-fledged pros.
Yes.
And that. So in that regard, I don't. And of course, guys like you and I are probably biased. We're hockey guys anyway, but I think take away the hockey fandom, and that's what you're still talking about. At the core of it, you're talking about at least college athletes are playing college athletes. That wasn't the case with Miracle on Ice.
No, but still a great moment for the United States hockey programs for men, women, and how good was that women's game? My goodness!
Oh, phenomenal!
Phenomenal.
There is no hate. I'm telling you, Rob. There is no hate like U.S. women versus Canada women. There is no hate. I was very fortunate.
Nothing like a woman scorned, right? Nothing. Oh my goodness. It's true.
Rob, I called the 2017 World Championship, and seeing the hate up close and personal. I mean, they hate each other. It's fun. I think it's the best rivalry in sport. I really do, because of the level of hatred.
All right, we've kept you long enough. We want to get you back to the madness. But before I let you go, let everybody know where they can reach you on social media, doing some great stuff. Well, I mean, I can talk an hour about everything you do around this state. You got some great podcasts out there with you and your buddies that I listen to quite often, as you know. So let everybody know how they can get your stuff and reach you and be a part of what you're building.
Oh, you're too kind. You know what? I'm just having fun. That's the most important thing. I'm busy with Woodward and state champs, and then I do a lot of stuff, on social media, off the air, and What the Puck and things like that. On the Twitter account, on YouTube, on Facebook and everything. And my gosh, I just love to talk sports, and that's why I love when you guys call. Any excuse to talk sports, I'm all in. So you call anytime, Rob.
Well, you're the best, man. Thank you so much. Enjoy the madness as it continues. North Dakota State up on Michigan State right now, 6-5. Long way to go, but we'll be in touch, and I know Jack will have you on very, very soon, my friend. Have a great weekend, and thanks again for taking some time to join me here today.
As always, thank you. I look forward to chatting with you again, my friend.
Sean Belegian, a man of many hats and a really just cool-ass guy. And I'll tell you, every time I get the great opportunity to host this show and I book my guests, Sean Belegian, because I'm selfish, is the one, if not the first person I call. And every time, he is more than happy to come on no matter what he's doing. So greatly appreciate his time when I host the show and when he's obviously on with Jack Ebling, the Hall of Fame host of the show. Just a great guy. So appreciate it. And I still won't hold the Montreal Canadian thing too hard against him. But, all right, we're going to continue to talk hockey. We'll keep you updated on Michigan State men's basketball playing North Dakota State right now in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Happy March Madness. March Madness. Man, it's like St. Patrick's Day all over for me again today. But we'll be back here in a moment. We're going to talk with the voice of Michigan State hockey, Scott Moore, right after this. Stay tuned for more of The Drive right here on the Spotlight Media Network.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Some great product here in early 2026.
You got it, Jack. Here at Chevy, we have, backed by popular demand, the all-new Bolt, redesigned and back in full force for us. People are really excited about that vehicle. It did great for us in the past.
Great.
And then next door, the Nissan Sentra, completely redesigned for that model. Great fuel economy. It's going to be a hot seller for us.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEANjobs.com.
Amy here from One North Kitchen and Bar. Tuesdays are family fun night at One North. Kids under 12 eat free with the purchase of an adult entree. Bring the whole crew to One North in Lansing, Jackson, or now East Lansing. Good food, happy kids, and an easy win for the family every Tuesday.
Are you passionate about college sports? Foster Swift Sports Talk is your go-to podcast dedicated to addressing the hottest topics in college athletics, including recruiting practices, NIL, the trade portal, collectives, and revenue generation.
Join us as we bring you insights from student athletes, college head coaches, administrators, and other industry leaders as they share their experiences in this rapidly changing arena.
Our mission is to share information and help educate student athletes, parents, coaches, and other stakeholders with the knowledge, resources, and strategies they need to to make informed decisions and maximize each college athlete's potential for long-term success. Check out our latest episode where we're joined by Chicago Bears offensive line coach Dan Richard to discuss the Bears' 2025 successful season and his coaching career in general. Like and subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook pages to watch all of our episodes, or you can give us a listen on any of your favorite podcasting platforms by simply searching Foster Swift Sports Talk. Until next time, I'm your host, Dave Russell.
Welcome back, everyone. It is The Drive here at the Spotlight Media Network in beautiful downtown Lansing. I am your host / producer / favorite masshole, hopefully, Boston Rob Bennett, wearing a number of hats today as the Hall of Fame host of this show, Jack Ebling, is in Buffalo for a Michigan State basketball game. I don't know if you know if that's going on or not. We'll keep you updated as of right now. Michigan State down 8-7 as they just tipped off a few minutes ago here in Buffalo, New York. But we're here in downtown Lansing at the Spotlight Media Studios. Yours truly being now joined by the voice of Michigan State hockey for a very long time. We're going to get that exact number here when I bring him on here. And a true friend, a person I worked many hours with at the Spartan Media Network. Still consider him a great friend. The voice, as I mentioned, of Michigan State hockey, Scott Moore. Scott, thank you so much for coming out of the bullpen. We're going to talk a little baseball. We're going to talk a little Michigan State baseball as well, but thanks for coming out of the bullpen at some late notice as March Madness continues. How's your bracket?
Go ahead. I just want to make the point, Rob, that you still consider me a friend, even though you worked many hours with me.
Yes.
That's high praise.
It's been about 4 years since I've worked with you in the same office, so I feel like 4 years has been enough away time. You know what I mean? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You have been
way too long.
Yes, it has been way too long. You have been a great mentor to me. I've been so lucky with the mentorship that I've had throughout my career between Earl Robinson, yourself, and Jack Ebling, and many others. So I appreciate you always, and it's great to have you on. Happy March Madness Day. Is your bracket busted already?
My bracket is not busted because I did not fill out a bracket this year.
Good man. How does that feel?
We had a baseball game yesterday in Ann Arbor, and I just ran out of time.
Oh.
I certainly would not have picked Siena over Duke, and they're still up by 5 midway through the second half, but
plenty of basketball left, but who would have thunk it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Duke is coming back. They were down.
They were down by 11 at halftime. Yeah. So,
and now they're only down. They just scored. They're down by 2. So
yes.
Well, I heard that Siena played all 5 of their starters all 20 minutes in the first half.
Yikes.
I think that may be taking a toll now.
That might be taking a toll. Yikes, indeed. And as unbelievably as it sounds, there's other sports going on other than March Madness, right?
Well, yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
My goodness.
We're getting ready to fire college hockey back up tomorrow.
Yeah, indeed. And what do you think about that Big Ten championship matchup between Michigan and Ohio State? Two teams that Michigan State obviously knows very well.
It's the weird part about it. Ohio State is the only team that Michigan State had a sub 500 record against this year.
Yes.
Okay, 1-2-1 in the regular season.
Why is that, Scott? Why is that?
It's just Ohio State seems to know how to play Michigan State. Going back to last year's Big Ten tournament championship game, it went into overtime. It's just. It's crazy. Every once in a while, you get a rivalry like that where one team just seems to have the other team's number. And this year for Michigan State, it's been the Buckeyes.
And when you look at Ohio State, not only this year, but many people might forget what a great Big Ten tournament championship game it was for Michigan State last year. And who did they face?
Yeah.
Ohio State. So this is turning into... this is turning into, at least on the ice, quite the rivalry back and forth.
It really is. And, of course, the main rival for Michigan State always has been and always will be Michigan.
Sure.
But
right.
Ohio State's running a close second.
How would you, for someone just maybe figuring out Michigan State hockey or just coming around to wanting to get to know Michigan State hockey this year, how would you explain the season to them as we get ready now for the NCAA tournament?
Well, the season has been a rousing success, even with the disappointment of the tournament semifinal loss.
Yeah.
To any time that you can win a regular season title 3 years in a row, and make that third one outright, as the Spartans did, it's got to be a successful season. Michigan State most likely has a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament locked up.
Yes.
I always say that, knock wood.
Yeah.
But it looks like everything's locked up for the Spartans. So, yeah, it's been a great success. It's been a season that has seen Trey Augustine just dominate the position of goaltender. It's been a season that saw the continued surge of Charlie Stramel as a power forward.
Yes.
Call him the big rig. And it's been a season where the supporting cast has stepped up as needed. They've gotten great contributions out of a couple of the freshmen. Porter Martone,
yes.
Absolutely, a 2020 guy this year.
Yeah.
And
Riker.
Anthony Romani.
Yeah.
Having a great scoring touch, especially in the second half of the season. Riker Lee does things that human beings can't do with a puck on a stick. It's just it's crazy watching him. So yeah, it's been a very successful season. It definitely is a team to watch in the future still, even though you figure that Stramel is gone. You know that Danny Russell is gone, Matt Basgall is gone, but there are plenty of players there that are ready to step up into those roles and maintain the success that the team's having. You figure Porter Martone most likely will sign a professional contract.
Yep.
I think the Flyers have been at quite a few games to keep an eye on him.
Sure.
And my friend Tim Saunders, the play-by-play guy for Philadelphia, is going to love watching this kid.
Yes.
But
and I'm glad you brought up a name, because this guy to me, the senior class number one, we'll get to a second here, and how important they are as far as not only output on the ice, but just the foundation that's continuing to be built by Coach Nightingale. But Daniel Russell, to me, is one of the, maybe not to his teammates and not to the media that follow this team, and obviously you and Woody know, but boy, he is maybe one of the most underrated players in all of Big Ten, and dare I say, all of college hockey. He's been on that top line with multiple years, and he just goes about his business. He can score you 15 goals. I mean, he's always in the right position. He always seems to make the right, for the most part, right play. But my goodness, not enough is spoken about the skill of Daniel Russell, who is going to be, I believe, a free agent, right? Or did some? Yeah, which is mind-blowing to me.
Somebody will give him a look, because he is the consummate role player.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have said it so many times over the last 4 years. The kid is just sneaky strong. He looks like he's a $150, sopping wet. He's not the tallest guy out there, but boy, I would not want to be in a corner or in front of the net with him, because he is just dogged out there. And he's willing to go into as Woody calls them, those dirty places, the tough places, and do what he's asked to do. So, he's going to get a look at somebody. And I predict that he'll play professional hockey for a while at some level, whether it's in overseas, the AHL or ECHL or somewhere overseas.
Absolutely.
He's a team guy. I mean, he's somebody, everybody on the team loves him, and like I said, he will do whatever Coach Nightingale asks him to do, and that's anything that anybody in a professional franchise can ask.
You talked about the big rig, Charlie, right? And this goes back to everybody talks about the transfer portal and kids leaving and going to other places in all the sports, right? Pretty much. It's very, like, for football and basketball, it's magnified 1,000 times. But it does happen it's starting to happen more in hockey, as we know, right, Scott? But this is this is an example of a young man that decided that the transfer portal can work and can be positive. We hear all the negatives all the time about the transfer portal, and it's wrong, and it's this, and it's that. You know, we hear negative quite a bit on Sports Talk Radio. But for me, Charlie Stramel is what's good about the transfer portal, right? Started at Wisconsin, a home guy at Wisconsin, wasn't really working out there. But my goodness, and he's been, I believe, an NHL draft pick, the Minnesota Wild, right? Have him. And the transformation, and obviously Coach Nightingale knew him, right? Knew about him, coached him a little bit, I believe.
Coached him with the development team.
Yeah, and just the transformation that, sometimes a different view or a different place can transform you into the player that, that a lot of people thought he would be right out of the jump, which sometimes isn't fair. But again, this is to me the transfer portal working in a positive way.
You're exactly correct. I would argue, however, that it's double-breasted there, because it's the kid needing to get into the transfer portal because things weren't working out, and landing in the right place with the right coaches and the right staff.
Yes, I agree. You are right.
Charlie knew Coach Nightingale. Like I said, he played under Adam with the U.S. development team. He, as a high school age kid, he signed or he verbaled at least to Wisconsin, and then signed a tender there. And then they had a coaching change.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the same coach that he had signed to play there for.
Yeah, we see that quite often, right? Yes.
For whatever reason, it just didn't work out, and that happens. And so here's where the transfer portal worked, because he had a second chance. He got in with a coach that he knew, who he understood, and he knew that he was going to play a style of hockey that he wanted to play. Same thing happened with Ike Howard, and look how that worked out. After a bad year at Minnesota Duluth, he comes to Michigan State and has 2 outstanding years and wins the Hobey Baker Award. It's part the kid, it's part the coach knowing the kid, because Ike's situation was the same. He had played at the development program, but it's that trust level of the kid saying, "Okay, I'm comfortable here. I will come here."
And I think it's fair to say a Hobey Award candidate. Not only for him.
He's
most
just
certain.
Announced the Hobey top 10 yesterday. And
they did.
Have 2.
Okay, I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spartans have 2 in the list of the Hobey top 10. Charlie Stramel is in there, and Trey Augustine's in there.
And you could have argued Porter Martone, right?
The award.
And you could have argued him.
Yeah. Oh, by all means. I mean, I'm kind of glad that I'm not on the Hobey committee this year. I've been on it for the last 3.
Yes.
And having to advocate for 2 players out of the top 10 and decide who to put first. I mean, I can name those 2 1 and 1A.
Yeah.
As far as their importance to the Spartan team, there's no doubt that Michigan State would not be where they are right now if Trey had signed a contract and gone pro. I mean, Melvin Strahl is a fine goaltender. We saw that the 2 non-conference games that he played. He got the start against Minnesota in the last game of the season, battled back to a tie with him in net. So, I mean, Melvin's good. There's no two ways about it. Just like Luca DePasqua was good last year in backing up Trey when he was playing with the U.S. Junior national team. So the Spartans have had, through history, have had just fantastic luck with great goaltending. Going back even before Ron Mason coached Ron Scott here. They've always had good goaltending, and Trey is the latest in the line. And like I said, who knows? He's got one more year of eligibility. Who knows whether the Red Wings will sign him this year or whether he'll come back for a fourth year. If he comes back for a fourth year, there's a lot of records he's going to break.
Well, I think a lot of it, obviously, it depends on the Red Wings. They just might like him sitting where he's at, right? But for him personally, I think it really depends on how this NCAA tournament goes. For him personally, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And yeah, the Red Wings are comfortable with him here. They know that Jared DeMichael does a great job with goaltenders, and so they're just happy as a clam to have him playing here. It's just a matter of, this is the year that the Red Wings really would need to sign him, because if they don't sign him this year and he plays a fourth year of college hockey, all he has to do is wait until after the draft, and he can sign with any of the teams.
Yeah, he'd be a free agent, right? Yeah. I would imagine the Red Wings are aware. Right.
This will be the year to watch how serious the Red Wings are.
Well, and how serious now of a threat? Obviously, one of maybe a handful of teams. You never know in the NCAA tournament with hockey. But my goodness, Michigan State, this is what really they've been building for all year since the end of last year, right? This is where all eyes will be on Michigan State to see if they can finally, it's what, Adam Nightingale's fourth year, right? I don't want to say get over the hump. I don't want to make it sound like that. It's not like, but maybe it is that, right? To get over the hump.
It'll be their third year as a one seed in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
2 years ago, they just happened to get matched up in the same region as Michigan.
Yeah.
And it's hard to beat a team that many times.
Yes.
In a single season.
Yes.
They did take care of Western in overtime in the regional semifinal.
Yes.
And then last year, it was just, Cornell got hot. They got a goal at the right time when the Spartans were up, and they rode the momentum.
Yep.
And that loss left a sour taste in everybody's mouth.
Yeah.
And so the guys that were on the team last year, they have been pointing to this. They want to make amends for what happened last year. They want to make a long run and possibly even make it into into the Frozen Four in Las Vegas. It's not going to be easy.
No, never is.
Because there's a chance that they could be facing three teams that are all within an hour and a half of their regional site.
Now, we will find out
where the committee goes.
Yeah, we will find out on Monday, correct?
No, Sunday at 3 o'clock.
Sunday at 3 o'clock, my mistake. Sunday at 3 o'clock. And we were talking the other night, just by circumstance, not because of this show, believe it or not, where they might end up being, and you're saying it would be in my neck of the woods, right? You're saying it could be. Where could it be, Scott?
I am in no means a seasoned bracketologist.
Right.
But
I just want to hear you say. I just want to hear you say it. That's all.
You want to make sure I've got it right. I think the Spartans could be the number one seed in the Worcester region.
Very good. Well done. You've been practicing. I can tell. I can tell.
You are my consultant on all things city names in the Bay State.
Yes. I was talking with Sean Belegian, as you know, is another big hockey fan. Another big just hockey fan in general. We were talking about we were talking about the brackets here for the NCAA tournament. Michigan State up big, by the way, now on North Dakota State. We'll get to that here in a second. But he was talking about how some so-called experts were saying Michigan and Michigan State in the NCAA men's basketball final. And I said, and I countered that by saying you're probably going to have a better shot, no disrespect to either team on the hardwood. It could happen, most certainly, never doubt it. But I think there would be a better percentage of you seeing Michigan State in the Frozen Four, possibly the championship game in ice hockey for the NCAA tournament in ice hockey. Would you confer?
Hey, if everything falls right and the Spartans get their second win, and let me preface this by saying I do like the chances of a team that has suffered a hard loss right before the tournament. It just seems to help refocus these teams. And so the Spartans right now, in my mind, are in a good place because they're going into the NCAA tournament with a little bit of a chip on their shoulders and a little bit of something to prove as they get out there. If things happen the way that I'm seeing on other bracketologies, they could have to play your boys, the Minutemen, from Amherst, which is, about an hour and 15 minutes away from Worcester?
Yeah, pretty much, yes. Yeah, about that, give or take. And there is a connection to Michigan State and UMass.
Oh, yeah.
As we are known as.
That's where Jared DeMichael was the associate head coach before he came to Michigan State to work with Adam Nightingale.
Won a national title there, I believe.
And you're right. So
what do you know?
You've got an associate head coach at least that has been to that pinnacle, and he's going to be a positive influence on these guys if indeed they make it that far.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what transpires.
It could be Michigan State and UMass, which would be the battle between you and me.
Well done.
In the regional semifinal in Worcester.
And very good. See, wow.
See, I've been working on it.
I'm proud of you, really. I'm proud of you. You'd be able to go in there and I feel like you'd be able to pass. They'd let you into a fine establishment if you chose to go to one. With that.
Yeah, exactly. If I chose to and had the time to.
Yes.
But it's also, it's in my blood. I know. I
know it is. Here we go. Go ahead. I'll give it to you.
Go back to. I've got roots that go back to the Mayflower. So. It
Ancestry.com. Here we come. I know it. You did it. You did that whole thing. I know you did.
It is in my DNA to be able to pronounce some things Boston.
Well, from one masshole to another, I appreciate it then.
You bet.
All right, before we let you go, we got to talk baseball. I promised you some Michigan State baseball.
Yeah.
We have another season, as you mentioned, started last, wait, what? Wow, I just went brain dead.
The season's been going.
The season's been going. But for you broadcasting Michigan State baseball, it was just your first game the other day, right?
It was my first game.
Back, I should say.
And yes, indeed. And that was my alarm. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Thought there was a fire in here. I was gonna leave you.
I think. I think this is year 10. With baseball.
Okay.
I think.
Wow.
I'm not positive on that because we started it in the mid 2000s, I believe.
Yeah, I believe
I
you're right.
could be wrong.
Yeah.
It's slept a lot since the last time I did a baseball game.
Well, and I know you've kept track of the team, and you've been with this team now at least for a decade. We'll say a decade. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Right. So. And Michigan State baseball got off to a great start with a couple of wins against top 10 team ranked, and now a tough loss the other day against the school down the road, I believe. Right?
It was a weird game.
Just couldn't get that hit right.
Yeah, they stranded 10 base runners. They had 7 that were left on the bases in scoring position. They just could not come up with the key hit that they needed when they had the opportunity. They out-hit the Wolverines in the game. The only thing that they didn't do was outscore them. Michigan winning the game 2-0 with 2 runs in the first 4 innings. And it was a well-played game by the Spartans when you think about it, except for the fact that they just could not push across that run. They had runners that had left the bases loaded in the 8th, and they had runners at 2nd and 3rd with 2 out in the 9th.
Yeah.
And just, could not come up with the hit they needed at the proper time. But
which happens so often in baseball. I mean, it's just such a fickle sport when it comes to that. I mean, you got to take advantage.
You figure if you succeed 3 times out of 10, you're doing great.
It's the percentages. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, it's just the game. One of my pet phrases: the game gives and the game takes away.
Most certainly.
And so, it'll be interesting to see this weekend.
I was going to say, what's coming up for them? Let people know what's coming up for the baseball team.
We got the Iowa Hawkeyes coming into town for 3 games at Jeff Ishbia Field at McLean Stadium. Friday and Saturday. Got to get the name right.
Right.
Friday and Saturday, both starting at 3:32 to be exact.
Okay.
And then on Sunday at 1:02. So it's this will be an interesting series because the Hawkeyes are 6-1 in the Big Ten. Yes, it's early, but they're Iowa traditionally is a very good team.
Yeah,
and it'll be interesting to see just how good they are. They usually have very good pitching and about 2 or 3 guys who can just hit the ball whenever they need to.
Yeah.
So it'll be an interesting weekend to see the Spartans able to play at home. It's been their 2nd game in Michigan. They walloped Eastern Michigan a week ago, and then the 2-0 loss to Michigan yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see how they do on their own home field and in front of what we hope will be a good fan base because the temperatures are going to be.
I was going to say, Mother Nature. What are you seeing, Scott? Is it going to be? I was going to say, we're going to put your weather hat on, right? What I know you pay attention to these things, especially during baseball season. Obviously, you have to. So, what's Mother Nature got in store as of this moment? As of this moment, right now, what does Michigan State or what does Mother Nature have in store for Michigan State baseball this week?
Well, for tomorrow's opener, a high of 59 under cloudy skies.
Okay.
And then on Saturday afternoon, a high of 55 with some peaks at the sun. And on Sunday, earlier today, I saw more sunshine. Now is a bit of a chance of rain, but 53 degrees. So, Sunday, as we say here in Michigan, if you don't like the weather, wait a minute, it'll change. And so we don't know what Sunday's going to be like.
Like last week when it was a blizzard conditions for one moment and the sun and blue skies literally 2 minutes later. 2 minutes later. Crazy.
Exactly.
All right, Scott, let everybody know where they can find you on social media. You are a social media savant.
Okay.
You're always on that. Let us know where we can find you.
Twitter. On Twitter, you can find me at VoxOMSU, VOXOMSU. Of course, the Spartan Media Network is available online as well.
Yep.
You can check both of those locations for any game updates, as well as MSUSpartans.com. Check the baseball schedule page. And if you want to listen, that's a good way to listen, is to go to the schedule page. There will be a listen link for each game that we're broadcasting. So you can listen. It's only available online, either at MSUSpartans.com or on the MSU Athletics mobile app.
Scott, you got it. Well done. Well done.
Well, the Spartans are up 37-20.
Thank you for that. You're taking over this show right now, right? Well done. I was going to let you go and give an update, but there you have it, folks. Scott beat me to the punch again.
I stole your thunder.
You did steal my thunder, but I appreciate it. 37-22, Michigan State with about 3 minutes left in the first half.
I'll let you give the Duke Siena final score, okay?
Do I have to?
I'll let you do that. I'm not going to steal that thunder.
Go ahead and do it.
All right. Duke came back all the way and beat Siena by 6, 71-65.
All right, so no 16-1 upset.
No 16-1 upset.
No true, not in that one. No true Imagine if that, man, imagine. I mean, I don't know how many people picked. There was a ton of people, I would imagine, for Duke for being national champion. So
I saw one tweet that said, if Siena pulls this off, everyone in the nation will have an imperfect bracket.
Imperfect bracket, indeed.
Because nobody would have picked Siena.
No. Well, I know someone who isn't imperfect, and that's you, Scott Moore. Thank you very much for all that you do, and we are looking forward to getting you back on the show as the NCAA hockey tournament gets underway, and of course, we'll be talking Michigan State baseball throughout the season here on The Drive with Jack Ebling as well. I appreciate you, my friend.
I will be happy to visit with you.
All right, always a pleasure, man. Take it easy and enjoy the madness without a bracket.
Yeah, well, the pressure's off.
That's it. I
can just tell people that I picked that team.
Joe Cool, Scott Moore. One and the same.
As far as anybody except people that are listening to this, as far as they know, I have a perfect bracket right now.
And you will have a perfect bracket in the end. I'm putting that on. I'm putting it out there.
I will have all four.
Indeed. All right, Scott, have a great day, my friend. Thank you again for coming on. Appreciate you, brother.
We'll talk to you later.
All right, the great Scott Moore. And I do say great guy and a true mentor to me throughout my journey here in sports talk radio. All right, as he mentioned, 37-22, Michigan State up on North Dakota State with about 3.5 minutes to go. Carson Cooper leading the way right now with 12 points and 3 rebounds. Jeremy Fears with 8 assists, leading the Spartans to that 37-22 lead with about 3 minutes and 24 seconds left in the first half. We are going to talk about Michigan State basketball, but we're going to talk women's Michigan State basketball after this break. That's right, as the women's team will get ready to start their NCAA tournament journey tomorrow, and who better to talk to than the voice of Michigan State women's basketball to preview their matchup against Colorado State and just the tournament in general, then with the voice, as I mentioned, of Michigan State women's basketball, the radio voice that is, Dalton Shetler. He'll be with me right after this break. You are listening to The Drive here on the Spotlight Media Network.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Hey Jack, I'm looking for a lunch deal that actually scores.
One North Kitchen and Bar has a 2 for $12 lunch combo, right, Jeremy?
Absolutely. We can mix and match half sandwiches, salads, soups, or classics like cheese quesadillas and personal pizzas. Weekdays 11 to 2 and Saturdays from 10 to 2.
One North.
Easy win.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Great time to get a great vehicle.
Fantastic time, Jack. 0% financing is back. Hard to believe this time right now we can get a vehicle with 0 interest.
Wow.
And if you're looking to pay cash, how about rebates up to $10,000? That's unheard of lately, right? $10,000 off on a vehicle. How about leasing? You want to lease? You can lease a vehicle right now in the low threes. Come on out and take a look.
You're talking everyone's language. Stop and see Matt and the gang. They're making friends.
Welcome back, everyone. Boston Rob Bennett with you, your favorite masshole on the drive this Thursday afternoon. Hope everyone is continuing to enjoy the madness of March today as the MSU men's team continues to battle North Dakota State in Buffalo. We are going to stick to the hardwood conversation as the Michigan State women's basketball team will tip off their tournament journey tomorrow night in Norman, Oklahoma, against a 27-win Colorado State team. And to give us a preview of that matchup and more, who better than the voice, the radio voice, that is, of Michigan State women's basketball, the one and only Dalton Shetler. Dalton, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. It's the best time of year.
It most certainly is. I'm going to play a little past, present, and future with you during this interview. And we're going to start with the most recent past. I want you to how would you encapsulate this Michigan State women's basketball team regular season to somebody?
Well, I think it's a bit of a tale of two halves of the season, but there does need to be more context applied than just simply the wins and losses. And if you start with the first half, I mean, Michigan State women's basketball this year got off to a school record start, and never before has Michigan State women's basketball had a better start than what they had this season. Now, in February, Michigan State ended up dropping a handful plus of games, but a lot of it was to UCLA, who may end up winning the whole thing this year.
Yeah.
Ended up dropping twice to Michigan. One was a classic of a game in East Lansing. The other one at Michigan really kind of got away from Michigan State after the first quarter. But that's a really good Michigan team, a top 10 Michigan team. A loss at Iowa back in January, which is a really tough place to play. And now Iowa's, of course, a 2-seed in the tournament. Lost to an Ohio State team that ended up being a 3-seed. Lose to Maryland, who's going to be a 5-seed. The point is, you lost to some of the best teams there are in the Big Ten and in the country.
Yeah.
And Michigan State does have some wins under its belt against squads like that. Think about Ole Miss in the non-conference. You think about Minnesota. That was the second to last game of the regular season at Minnesota.
Huge
That's
win.
A Minnesota team that's hosting March Madness. Michigan State beat them by 14 at their place. So I think overall, you can be disappointed in the way Michigan State lost a couple of those games. It felt like it took until halftime to show up against Ohio State for Michigan State. It felt like the game at Michigan, they just bottomed out. The Maryland game, Maryland came in desperate and hungry. Michigan State just didn't match the effort that was required and put out there by Maryland. So I think you can be disappointed in some of those, but overall, this is a historic season and a historic team. And if they can find themselves and get back to playing its best basketball like they did just a couple of weeks ago at Minnesota, I mean, Michigan State could really make some noise in this tournament.
What did you think they learned from the, I guess you would say, not the way they wanted to end the season and not the way, obviously, they wanted to go out in the Big Ten tournament either, but what did you think they learned during the tough times here, especially here at the end of the regular season and into the Big Ten tournament?
Well, I think what's really interesting is when you go through that stretch of February where you're playing basically nothing but top 10, top 15 teams, as Michigan State did. I think Robin actually alluded to this a couple of days ago at a media availability when she was talking with the press and had said that, you have that stretch of games all tied together, and I think it can knock you off your rhythm a little bit. I mean, this team had a swagger, had a momentum, had a rhythm, and it did feel like it got knocked off beat after a couple of those losses. And it took a minute to almost regalvanize and remember, like, oh, no, we're a historic team. Like, we've had incredible success this year, finding ways to not be discouraged. And I thought they did that in that road trip to Minnesota. Honestly, I still think Michigan State outplayed Illinois in the Big Ten tournament, out-rebounded the Illini by 11, had fewer turnovers. but Michigan State only made 3 threes and went 17 to 32 on layups. And honestly, like, you want to finish the layups. You can't really control if the threes go in or out. Illinois has been shooting really, really well, and the Illini escaped with a 2-point win there. But Michigan State did all the other things to control that game. So I think overall they've had this kind of recentering of the perspective, because Robin will talk about that a lot too. Trying to remind this team, you all have done some things that were incredible this year. Don't get discouraged when adversity hits.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see how they respond, most certainly, coming up tomorrow night. Who's your MVP of the regular season for Michigan State?
Oh, I think if you play that game, you're going to be between 2 names.
Yeah.
I honestly, I could give you the case for both. I think Grace Van Sluten is the star that we all had anticipated her being. We saw her be last year.
Yep.
She's the leading scorer on this team, 15 points a game, shooting 50% from the floor, gives this team a real threat and real dominating presence in the interior. But I got to be honest, the other one in the race is Kennedy Blair.
Yes.
And if you have not been following this journey, this story, Kennedy Blair started off as a walk-on. She committed to Robin Freilich at Bowling Green. Then Robin took the job here at Michigan State. She decides to follow Robin and says, I'll walk on to be at Michigan State. It's her dream school. She's from Dearborn, Michigan. Has to miss her entire first year with a foot injury, so she doesn't have any way of getting better. And then somehow over the summer, a couple of years ago, she actually carved out a role for last season where she played a couple of minutes, and already you're thinking, what a cool story. Now this year, she leads Michigan State in rebounds at 7 a game. She leads Michigan State in assists at 5.5 assists per night, which also is the 5th best mark in the Big Ten. She's 3rd in the Big Ten Conference in steals per game. And by the way, she's scoring 14.5 points per game and just dropped a career-high 30 against Illinois in the Big Ten tournament. Kennedy Blair plays with such a passion and edge that really seems to spurn this team and catapult and propel them. I think Kennedy Blair, and based just off the production as well, I mean, just stat stuffing, Kennedy Blair certainly is in that conversation of being the team's MVP this year. And honestly, that's why both of them ended up being all Big Ten second team.
Yeah, absolutely. And what if you had to pick one thing, and I hate to pigeonhole you, but I'm going to do it anyway, but if you had to pick one thing in Kennedy Blair's arsenal, what would it be? What's her biggest strength? We talk about her passion about numerous times on this show with Jack when we've had you on, right, throughout the season. But what is one thing that really just puts her above and beyond what anyone expected, and what hopefully will be a bright future, because she's only a sophomore, right?
She is. And honestly, the answer, if you want the intangible, it's hunger. She has this burning hunger, this burning desire to get better, to be better. And that's why, I mean, look, she's 5'9", 5'10", and she's the leading rebounder for Michigan State women's basketball. Like, they're just, her willingness to compete, her willingness to do whatever it takes to win, that's what's elevated her in all the other areas as well, and taken her to the stratosphere where all of a sudden she's an all Big Ten caliber player. I think on the floor, her vision is extremely, extremely impressive. Yeah. She kind of has a knack and a feel for the game. Now, look, she would admit, too, and everybody who pays attention to Kennedy Blair and is around the team, Kennedy still has a tendency at times to be reckless with the basketball. Turnovers can be the Achilles heel for Kennedy Blair. But that's something that she's aware of and is working on. And so, by next year, given how much she incrementally grows from season to season, that's something that will be cut into. And if she continues to make plays, she just creates things for herself and for others. Yeah. She keeps doing that. There's no telling where her game goes.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. And like you said, a great story. So if she and Grace Van Sluten are the MVPs, right? Who's the X factor maybe moving forward that really has, and I know Kennedy Blair has basically came out of nowhere, right? But who is an X factor that maybe somewhere, we should be taking a closer look at heading into this NCAA tournament for Michigan State that we're not talking enough about?
Well, I think what gets really interesting is it would be hard to give you one.
Yeah.
And I'll explain why. And
okay.
I can still even toss a couple of names out there. But the reason why it would be so hard to give you one is, look, this is year 3 of the Robin Fralick era. And year 1, Michigan State made the tournament with not having preseason expectations from outsiders of even dreaming of them making the tournament. They made it to the tournament, and they did so by scoring 82.8 points per game, which was a school record, and hitting 283 threes, which was also a school record. Then last year, Michigan State gets back into the tournament and wins the tournament game for the first time in 6 years. They do it by a school record 389 steals. So you're talking about, okay, you said a lot of firepower on offense. Now you're really good on defense. What's the strength of this year's team, year 3 of Robin Fralick? And the answer is balance and depth.
Yeah.
Because this is the deepest team under head coach Robin Fralick, it's allowed them different sorts of opportunities than they've ever had in previous years under head coach Robin Fralick.
So that's the X factor. That's the X factor.
Honestly, it's just about the whole team and honestly health, which I'll get to. But Robin had shared with me a couple of days ago, there's a stat floating out there that in Power 4 basketball, Power 5 basketball, Michigan State is number 1 in the country of Power 5 basketball in having the largest or most amount of varieties to win basketball games. So needless to say, the play style, the way the stats pump this out, Michigan State can win games in such a variety and an array of different ways. That's really the strength of the team. I mean, they can score with the best. They can lock down with some of the best. They can do a bunch of different things. And a lot of that goes to credit so many of those X-Factor type players. You look at somebody like a Jaylen Brown, who's now a fixture in the starting lineup. They need her to score. That is her biggest skill is scoring the basketball. Ines Otello is getting a lot more aggressive in the front court. But the other big thing here, too, Rob, as we talk about some individuals, is health. Julianne Woodard got to play just a minute, I believe, against Illinois in the Big Ten tournament. She is clear from the concussion protocol.
Okay.
See if she can help chip in some minutes.
Sure.
Rashonda Jones, she's known as Spider. She had sprained her ankle in the game at Michigan. She's still been trying to get back. She's played a couple of recent games, but now she's actually getting close to 100%. And then Isa Alexander, everybody thought was done for the season, and miraculously, she ends up coming back, and she's getting a little bit better as we go. So if you actually have a healthy team minus Theron Halleck, I mean, that gives you, when you're talking about having such a deep bench and such a wide variety of ways to win, that gives you that many more tools in the toolbox.
Well, we will get to the specifics of this tournament for Michigan State as they take on Colorado State here on Friday, but I want to look at the bracket as a whole for the Big Ten. In your view, did the committee get it right as far as the Big Ten tournament goes, as far as seeding and placement of teams, in your view?
Overall, I think so. So the Big Ten gets 12 teams into the Big Dance this year. I think, honestly, Nebraska making it in is great for the conference. They were probably about the last team. I don't think I've seen the overall seeds, but they had to be just about the last team to make it in. That one was a bit surprising. I don't know if some of the other teams on the bubbles resumes weren't quite as strong, but Nebraska, I think, only had one quad one win for the season. But the committee is giving a lot of credit to how tough this Big Ten league is.
Yes.
And it is. So I thought that was one of the interesting storylines. But the biggest storyline around the Big Ten, I believe, is the hosting situation. So the Big Ten ends up with 5 teams hosting in the Big Dance. You have UCLA, you have Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, and Minnesota. The other 2 Big Ten teams that were in the race is actually Michigan State and Maryland. And I thought, honestly, Rob, going into Selection Sunday, or matter of fact, back it up a day because they announced the hosting schools on Saturday this year. So we at least knew that heading into Selection Sunday. I thought not seeing Maryland up there was jarring I thought it was a given that Maryland was going to be hosting NCAA tournament games.
Okay.
North Carolina kind of came out of nowhere, I feel like, in the hosting conversation. I thought heading into it, Maryland was going to have a spot. I didn't see North Carolina being up there. And I thought the final spot would have been between Minnesota, Michigan State, and Kentucky. And obviously Kentucky and Michigan State bowed out anyway of how this all shook out. But I thought that was the interesting thing. But maybe the bottom line is, Rob, you had 7 teams from the Big Ten Conference that were capable and you could argue were deserving of hosting in the NCAA tournament, being in that top 16. That is a ridiculous thing to say. Nearly half of the hosting schools could have been from the Big Ten and nobody would have batted an eye.
Yeah, no. It just tells you, like we've mentioned, I dare say the best conference in women's basketball, right? I mean, that's the proof is most certainly in the pudding. All right, let's focus in on Michigan State and Colorado State, shall we? Now, this is a Rams team that is coming in on this game on a 7-game win streak, I believe. So what's your 9? Excuse me. What is your overview of them, just as a whole, as a team, as you prep for this game on Friday?
Well, they have really been winners throughout Ryan Williams' time there. This will be their second time to the Big Dance under head coach Ryan Williams. This will be the first trip in 10 years that they've made it to the Big Dance, but they've won Mountain West regular season conference championships. They just haven't gotten as many tournament championships, but they got it done this year. So they go back to the dance, as we said, on a 9-game win streak. They're really impressive defensively. They only give up 55 points a game on average. But maybe even more impressive than what they do on that end of the ball is how well they take care of the basketball. It is the number 1 team in the country for fewest turnovers. They turn it over about 10 times a game. Now, and we know part of the Robin Fralick formula is turning teams over, getting steals, turning it into points. Now, the only other thing to say or mention about this, I'll be curious how Colorado State handles some of the speed, athleticism, length of Michigan State if the Spartans can't turn them over some. Colorado State did not play a ranked team all season. So they do a very good job fundamentally, but will it look different against the length? We'll find that out pretty soon, but that's certainly not a knock on Colorado State. They have been unbelievable defensively and taking care of the basketball. I think the other thing to point out here too, Rob, is they average about 64, 65 points a game. They're led by Lexus Bargesser, who actually people should be aware of this. She's from down the road in Grass Lake, Michigan, near Jackson, so about 45, 50 miles from where we talk and hang out all the time, Rob.
That's right.
She started her career at Indiana, transferred to Colorado State this last year. Wasn't a scorer at Indiana, but she's a leading scorer for Colorado State at 15 points a game. But she got injured in the Mountain West Conference semifinal game against UNLV, missed the championship game against Air Force, and according to the school's press release with its game notes in preparation for this one, it looks like she is out. That is a season-ending injury.
Wow.
So the Rams will be without Lexus Bargesser in this game against Michigan State. So now the question becomes, if Colorado State is that good and stifling defensively, if they don't turn it over, can Colorado State get enough support from what's typically the supporting cast to be able to land enough punches against Michigan State? That's the big thing to see.
Well, I was gonna say, because I don't take too much credence in this, but the computer generated predictions and whatnot, that ESPN has and other sites have had Michigan State in quite the overwhelming percentage-wise winning this game. And now I can understand why, because when I just look at this team in general, right, Colorado State, I was like, wow, this is. And you're typically, at least in the men's bracket, you get the 5-12 upset, right? So I was curious to get your thoughts on what is a strength that Michigan State has to be wary about Colorado State, and vice versa for Colorado State. What's the main thing they have to worry about for Michigan State? But you pretty much nailed it right there. It's the defense, right, of Colorado State, really against the offense.
of Michigan State, and the ball security is going to become a huge issue between these two teams.
And I think one of the things to point out too, Rob, is Michigan State at times throughout this year has struggled going against pack line defenses.
Okay.
The groups that really like to make things congested on the inside.
Yes.
Not allow driving lanes. But offer up as a part of that maybe more of the perimeter shooting. Michigan State has had moments where at Penn State, the Spartans started 2 for 20 from three-point range. And they were on their heels down 16 in Happy Valley to a Penn State team that struggled this year and didn't make the Big Ten tournament. So you can point at areas where Michigan State has had tough times with that, but then you mentioned that Minnesota game. Minnesota is a pack line defense type group. They congest. They do things like that, but Michigan State was able to open it up by hitting some outside shots. So I hate to boil it down to, make or miss in some different ways, but
in this case,
Michigan State has got to find ways to make some shots, not just to put points on the board, but also just to open things up. If they can get that defense moving a little bit, if they have to play scramble drill, following the ball around instead of just letting Michigan State put up shots where they don't feel that the Spartans will connect, it'll change the game. So Michigan State has got to set a tone by knocking down some shots, open up that Colorado State defense, and as we talked about, that turnover battle will be really interesting as well.
So Colorado State does like to jam up the middle and clog up the middle. They do like to do that, and that obviously, like you just mentioned, obviously gives Michigan State some issues. So it'll be very interesting to see. And it really comes down to when we talk about X's and O's, it's just about making shots, right? I mean, it's crazy. It's an easy answer, but it's true in some cases, or most cases. You hit your shots, you win, right?
Yeah, well, and I mean, there's been a couple examples this year, but again, the most recent one is Illinois.
Yeah,
I mean, Michigan State.
Yes,
the Spartans haven't necessarily been an overpowering rebounding group, but they out-rebounded Illinois by 11, and they had less turnovers in Illinois. Yep. And typically, as Robin Freilich likes to say, she may not be good at math, but she's good at basketball math. If you have more possessions and you can take more shots at the rim,
what a concept!
I mean, at that point, you just have to make some of them to win. And for Michigan State, they just couldn't in Indianapolis. Only 3 threes, just barely above 50%.
Yeah, and they rely on that so much. Just not the threes, but like you said, the mid-range shot. I mean, they haven't really relied about dominating the middle, right? When your guard is your leading rebounder, as you said earlier in this interview, I know for this year, you know where your bread is buttered, right? It's the outside shot.
Oh, well, but part of that too, Rob, is teams are so intent on trying to take away the interior from Michigan State because you start with Grace Van Sluten, and so Michigan State. Honestly, I think outside of 2 games this entire year have actually outscored their opponents in the paint. The Spartans have won the interior, but that's why defenses are so hell-bent on trying to take that away.
Yeah.
And if they have to throw multiple help-side defenders in, I mean, that game against Penn State was just daring Michigan State to take threes. They at times had 3 players on Grace Van Sluten when she didn't even have the ball.
Right.
And you just have to hit some of those shots to create things and make the defense come out. And then you can go back inside to Grace, which is really the primary focus for this offense. But at the end of the day, you just have got to hit some shots. I hate to make it that simple, but it is.
It's not rocket science.
The other thing too, Rob, the other thing too is this is a capable 3-point shooting team.
Yes.
I would say they are much more comfortable going to the rim. I think they're better going to the rim. But there was a point this season that Michigan State had, I think, 8 different shooters at 40% or above from 3-point range. It's a very good shooting basketball team, but they have certainly had ups and downs along the way that honestly are kind of inexplicable.
All right, so we've talked about the recent past. We just talked about the present with this matchup against Colorado State. I'm going to talk a little bit of the future for Michigan State women's basketball. I'm going to bring up a name. Let me know if you can talk about her or not. But they're making the rounds of Lily Williams. Does that name sound familiar to you out of Howell?
It sure does. That's Miss Michigan basketball.
It most certainly is.
This is somebody that the Spartan staff is extremely excited about. I think the potential is off the charts when talking about Lily Williams. Actually, I had a conversation with your good buddy Jack Ebling recently about Lily, where we were talking some about her. I mean, at her size, when you start at that kind of size, you already have an advantage. Her mobility with the size being paired is almost a bit of a cheat code. And I believe the staff understands that she comes in, she'll be a freshman. It may take just a little bit to get going. There will be freshman mistakes, right? You allow a padding, a grievance for some of those types of things. But overall, the skill she already possesses is simply incredible. And if you think about the potential of where it could go for Lily Williams, I mean, the sky's the limit. And that makes Michigan State fans really, really excited. I think that's going to be a day one player when she arrives.
Yeah, that's most certainly what I'm hearing from people that, just from myself, an outsider looking in and doing a little research on her. Most certainly has every opportunity to be a really big-time player for this program for years to come, for sure. All right, before we let you go, Dalton, got to get your... I don't want to say prediction. I'm not going to be a Jack Ebling. I'm not going to ask you for a score. I'm not going to do any of that. No. What is the ceiling for Michigan State in this tournament? And we all know what's looming. We all know, if you look at the bracket, we all know who's the number one seed in their bracket. But what is the ceiling for Michigan State heading into this tournament?
Well, here's what I would say. I think the best way to look at this is in year one, we talked about somehow Michigan State made the tournament as a 9 seed of Robin Freilich. In year two, they were a 7 seed and they got their first NCAA tournament win in 6 years. Here in year 3, I think the next step as this team comes in as a 5 seed, and you can see the linear progression as we go through that, I think the goal should be to make a Sweet 16. I think when you're talking about Michigan State women's basketball, that's something that's only been done 3 times in 53 years of Spartan women's basketball. Hasn't been done in 17 years. But if Michigan State makes a Sweet 16, that's the kind of rarefied air around here that you're starting to talk about. First, you have to get by Colorado State. And then awaiting that is most likely 4-seed Oklahoma, unless 13-seed Idaho knocks them off. But in Oklahoma, at Oklahoma, you got a team with an elite guard in Aaliyah Chavez, one of the nation's best coming out. And then Reagan Beers on the inside, a really physical, dominant big. I think Michigan State heading into that one, I would doubt, like as you talk about computer projections, that Michigan State is favored.
Right.
But I believe Michigan State absolutely can win that game. And then, look, if you make it to Sacramento and you're in the Sweet 16 and you go against South Carolina,
you're playing with house money.
When we talk,
you're playing.
That's how I feel. If you make your 4th Sweet 16 in school's history in 53 years, that's the goal, and that is a very measurable and obvious, identifiable next step for Robin Freilich in this program. Year 1, you made the tournament. Year 2, you won a tournament game. Year 3, can you claim a mark in history on this school by going to just the 4th Sweet 16 ever? I think that's the layout.
Oh, it's going to be fun to watch, and it's going to be fun to listen to you as well. Who's going to be with you on the broadcast? Or are you flying solo?
No, I got my partner, Lauren H. Garage,
outstanding.
Here in Norman, Oklahoma.
Outstanding. You ever been to Norman, Oklahoma before?
No, actually, this will be my first time. I've been to Oklahoma, but it was Tulsa. This will be my first time in Norman, so I'll have to report back after I eat all the barbecue and lick my fingers.
I will eat all the barbecue and listen to all the country music you want, my friend.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Indeed. All right. Well, safe travel. Have a great broadcast. Let everybody know how they can listen to you and your partner there, Michigan State women's basketball alum. And
absolutely.
How can they listen to you guys do a great job as you always do?
Well, and she is a Michigan State basketball alum. She was a part of the last Sweet 16 team back in 2009 that went over Joe P. and Duke to go to the Sweet 16.
Great memory.
But you can catch her and I starting at 7 o'clock. Friday night is when we'll take the air. Tip is at 7:30. We're only on WVFN 7:30 a.m. in town. That is WVFN 7:30 a.m. NCAA tournament rules prohibit us from being able to stream, so you cannot catch us on the app. You cannot listen to us on the website. You can only listen to us on WVFN 7:30 a.m. So find an old radio if it's not in your car. Sit around and let's have some fun.
Absolutely. Great time of year, as you mentioned, Dalton. Have a great time in Norman. Let's go on a little bit of a run, shall we?
Absolutely. Sounds good, partner.
All right. Dalton Shetler, thank you so much for joining us. The voice of Michigan State women's basketball. My good friend, dare I say, Dalton Shetler. Make sure to tune in Friday night, as he mentioned. And we will be back here on The Drive with Jack. More to come right after this. You are listening to the Spotlight Media Network.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Some great product here in early 2026.
You got it, Jack. Here at Chevy, we have, backed by popular demand, the all-new Bolt. Redesigned and back in full force for us. People are really excited about that vehicle. It did great for us in the past.
Great.
And then next door, the Nissan Sentra, completely redesigned for that model. Great fuel economy. It's going to be a hot seller for us.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Hey, Jack, you love a good gift card.
Yes, Jeremy, I do.
One North makes it even better. Reload your One North gift card now through January for 15% off and keep those good meals coming. Lunch, dinner, happy hour, covered. Reload it, use it, repeat. One North Kitchen and Bar.
Where gift cards keep giving.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Great time to get a great vehicle.
Fantastic time, Jack. 0% financing is back. Hard to believe this time right now we can get a vehicle with 0 interest.
Wow.
And if you're looking to pay cash, how about rebates up to $10,000? That's unheard of lately, right? $10,000 off on a vehicle. How about leasing? You want to lease? You can lease a vehicle right now in the low 3s. Come on out and take a look.
We're talking everyone's language. Stop and see Matt and the gang. They're making friends.
Welcome everybody back to The Drive on this Thursday afternoon. Boston Rob Bennett back with you, your favorite masshole, producing and hosting today's show with The Drive, as the Hall of Fame host of this show, Jack Ebling, is in Buffalo watching Michigan State men's basketball kick off their NCAA tournament journey. this year with a 61-33 lead right now against North Dakota State in the first round of the tournament. As we get closer and closer into as we are in the second half of that game now. But I want to welcome in a good friend of mine, dare I say. I've known this man for a couple of years now. Does some great work. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. The host of Baseball This Week, coming up, actually, later this evening, in studio here with me, the one and only, thank goodness for that, Jim Stark. Jim, thanks for coming in today, man. I appreciate it.
Did my doctor call you with a serious report? Why are you being so nice to me? I'm a little bit uneasy here.
Don't worry.
Hey, where do you?
I'm setting you up. Don't
wherever
worry.
You're getting your score, you're ahead of my TV screen. You had 61-35 when it still said 58. So whatever your scoring is a little bit sooner than mine. But I tell you, this game started a bit slow, but I tell you, this has been all Michigan State machines since then.
If you're a Michigan State fan right now, this is exactly what you want to see.
Exactly. Yep.
This is what you want to see.
Well, here's the question, though. Is this what Tom Izzo wants to see? Is he happy with this game?
I mean, he'll find something to bitch about, and that's what great coaches do. There's always room for improvement, but when you look at what Carson Cooper and Jackson Kohler have been able to do in this game, this is exactly the recipe for success.
You know who I thought was a critical player early that isn't normally part of the determining factor of the game is Cam Ward. He went 4 for 4, 8 big points when they were still building that lead in only 8 minutes. That's production.
How important has Cam Ward been healthy and Jordan Scott, the two freshmen?
Yeah.
I mean, especially with the injuries that have transpired with this team, it's been talked about to death throughout this season. But my goodness, a healthy Cam Ward. He's had that wrist injury throughout the season, and nothing better than a healthy Cam Ward. Jordan Scott has taken huge steps.
They both give you size. I think they're both 6'8".
Yep.
They give you a lot of athleticism.
Yep.
They can rebound, they can run, and they can shoot from the outside. So you're right. Those are the building blocks. But it's great to see them getting some experience with the big lights, the hot spotlights on them.
Well, and Michigan State is a different team in this way because they both have the experience of veteran players in the system, and they have young guys, freshmen that aren't playing like freshmen now. And you got a Hall of Fame head coach.
If you go back into all the years that Tom Izzo has been the head coach, his most successful teams, without a doubt, start with a great point guard.
Yeah,
and sure enough, this year again, it seems like it's come around again with Fears. But when he has a great point guard, invariably that team is really good.
Well, that's just in general, right? I don't think, no offense to Coach Izzo, but he didn't invent that way of doing it. But you're right. But you're right.
But his offense runs
dictates.
So if you have a less than a high quality point guard, his team maybe suffers more, but his teams benefit more when that point guard. Look at the last 10 years. The best teams, and I know what you're saying, but especially in Michigan State's example, the best teams come when the point guards play his system.
You talk about best players, and I want to stay on the hardwood as Michigan State looks to be on their way. I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like they will be, if this holds, they will be facing Louisville in the next round. But I want to switch gears a little bit. I want to stay on the hardwood with you for a second, but I want to go professional.
Yeah.
And I want to say, first off, I mentioned this earlier in the show when I was talking to Sean Belegian. I brought it up to him. First off, we want to wish Cade Cunningham nothing but a full recovery.
What have you heard? What's the latest you've heard?
Well, it's a mild. I haven't checked recently. I've been kind of busy yapping off for the last 2 hours. But it's a collapsed lung. It's a mild collapsed lung, whatever that means. Not as serious as I guess one would think it would be. Thankfully for him,
right.
And as I mentioned earlier in the show, I hate to be a broken record, but I'm going to be. Nothing but the full recovery of Cade first. First and foremost, you want him to be healthy. Never mind basketball. Just that's a scary situation. But from a basketball standpoint, for the Detroit Pistons right now, as I mentioned, and I'm going to say it the same way I said it earlier in the show, what a kick in the nuts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not the worst case scenario. It looks like if everything is official and he could be back in a couple of weeks.
Right.
But my goodness, with a surging Boston Celtics team, with a Cleveland Cavaliers team that has aspirations of moving up, this could not come at a worse time for the Detroit Pistons because, let's face it, he is the guy for the Detroit Pistons.
It's such a strange, rare thing to happen in a young, healthy basketball player, right? The official name is a pneumothorax, but
is that what it is?
Yeah,
okay, Dr. Stark.
But
appreciate it.
Well, and it's not like I remember. I'm looking at it right now. but he had a collision.
Yes.
And apparently that's what led to the
yes.
But it's just such a strange thing. You might get one or two of those a year, right? You get a lot of torn ACLs
or shoulder.
Yeah. But the good news is it's not structural, right?
Right.
It should be quote unquote easier to come back from that than say a knee or something more structural. But again, 2 weeks is 2 weeks. And this time of year, the good news about the team, though, as you know, they struggled for the last, I think, was it 4 in a row? Well, they won 3 out of 4, and now they're back. I think they're back to 4 or 5 games over Boston for the whole conference.
3.5 or 4, I believe.
Yeah, and then they're still 7. So they're not in danger of losing their position in the conference or the
and that's fine.
But you don't want to lose your momentum either.
No, and whether it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I mean, it's just now. Will he be? Yeah, will he be? It's kind of. I'm wondering, and Sean Belegian, again, I'm going to give him credit for bringing this up. How much basketball shape will Cade Cunningham be in when he comes back, whenever he comes back from this?
You got to know that that your cardiovascular system is so important to a basketball player, and if that's compromised by the lung issue, it's going to take. But again, if best case scenario, let's say he's back by the first part of April, that still gives him a couple weeks of the regular season to get back into at least a playing shape before the playoffs start. But that's best case scenario.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to mention this to you, and I want to. I feel like I know you enough. I know you good enough. I know what you're going to say, but I want to.
Okay.
I want to see if we're in agreement here. So with Cade being out, who's this team right now?
Well, it's a great question because I don't think he wants to put it in Jenkins' hands. I mean, he's had a good year. He's filled in.
Yes.
But experience at this time of year is so critical.
Jaron Duran's team? Is this Jaron Duran's team?
Well, it is
minus the experience.
But who's going to run the point though, right? Because you can't hit. So I'm going to almost say maybe LeVert. might end up being only because I don't know if Huter has enough experience in this team to run it, right?
No.
So maybe LeVert might be the best bet to keep the momentum going for 2 weeks. Other than that, you're going to go with Jenkins. You could but there's really no forward to swing back either. It's not like you've got a forward. You say, well, he can run the point. Those guys they have don't do that, right?
Right.
So you're right. Losing that that point guard position right now is so critical because that's the one spot they have where they don't have much depth.
Yeah, and how effective is Isaiah Stewart, and how effective is Jaron Duran going to be now that Cade's off the floor?
Because
they're going to be having a target on their backs.
Well, he gets the ball to them in the perfect spot to score. They get a lot of those pick and roll points.
Yeah,
but you're right.
You gotta.
And the thing is, I guess all this guy has to do is keep the thing going. He doesn't have to be great; just be good. And don't hurt the team, right?
Like a game
caretaker, right? Just be good enough.
A game manager, in quarterback. You hear in quarterback in football all the time.
I want to.
He's a game manager.
Maybe the guy to step up though unexpectedly might be Marcus Sasser. He might be a guy that all of a sudden he takes that job and says, you know what? I can be, much like Paul Reed does when Paul Reed went a four. Maybe Marcus Sasser might even be a better bet than LeVert. To be that fill-in guy to play for those 2 weeks. I just don't think it's going to be Jenkins. I just think Jenkins is too inconsistent still. But Sasser, I think, plays a game closer to what Cunningham does.
Okay. All right.
But you're right. There's a hole. Without a doubt, there's a hole.
Yeah, and with the Boston Celtics, as you mentioned the Boston Celtics a few weeks ago.
They loom.
They loom. And I said to you, really, the Celtics?
Yeah, man.
But boy.
experience.
And with Jason Tatum.
What's the latest on him?
Well, he's playing.
Is he?
He's played.
Is he healthy?
Yeah, he just had 15 points, 20 points.
Okay,
last
so
night's game.
He's game condition. They think
if he isn't, he's getting there.
Yeah, and
but
that's he's healthy though.
He's healthy.
He had a torn
ACL,
Achilles, right?
Yeah, ACL.
Oh, ACL. Okay.
Yeah.
So structurally he's sound, but he's got 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get up to game speed before the playoffs.
Watch out for that, because if that happens, boy.
And again, you cannot replace or underestimate experience, especially a team like Boston that's won it all.
Absolutely, you are absolutely correct. All right, I wanted to bring you on for many things.
Okay,
right? And
I love that intro. I want that intro on tape.
Do you? I can send you a copy.
I think
of that.
I have to, because
you don't get that with Jack, do you?
I thought I was like, am I dead?
It's multiple.
Is this my
eulogy?
This is my eulogy?
Yeah. No, you thought this was a multiverse?
You never
thing?
know.
You might be in a different universe.
One of those Twilight Zone things.
Yeah, because you won't get that from Jack Ebling. I know that for a fact.
And you cow tie to him when he's here. You jump on his bandwagon.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, this damn chair in this producer's studio has been giving me fits all day.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Are you sorry?
Yes, I am sorry. I don't want you to be.
I can't sit still.
I don't want you to be uncomfortable because we're doing our show in another 40 and a half hour.
Yeah,
I want you comfortable for that.
Yeah, let people know what we got coming up.
Well, Rob and I have.
Come on, man. It's baseball season.
We put our toe in the water the last 2 years with a baseball show. We did our baseball this week. A few weeks, a couple years ago. A few more weeks last year. This year, we are going to try and do the whole season. We started last week when I did the show down from spring training.
Yeah.
So this is the first week of what we hope will be a whole season's worth of baseball this week with myself and Rob. Every Thursday. Thursday's our day right now. We're going to stick with that.
Yep.
But we're going to have fun. We've never had that much time to talk about baseball.
Well, now we do.
We do. And we'll talk, of course, tonight. We'll talk about the end of the Baseball World Classic. We'll talk about the Tigers, the current Tigers that played a role in the Classic. We'll talk about the former Tigers that also played a big role, especially in the final game on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Former Tigers indeed. And there was a few of them.
And we're going to talk about where the Tigers stand right now with the final roster. The big question, of course, is will Kevin McGonigal make the final roster?
Of course he is.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to let the cat out of the bag.
Well,
I said to you in the beginning of spring training, what did I say to you? I said, I don't think he's going to make the opening day roster. I think he'll make the team some point during the season.
Right.
I will sit here right now before we start the show in about 15, 20 minutes. I will say right now, unless something drastic happens within the next, 2 weeks or whatever, however much time we got, there is no way. He has forced them.
You're writing it in granite. You're putting it in stone right today.
He has forced them.
He's earned the job.
He has most certainly earned the job.
Well,
you don't think he has?
Well, no, I do. But you were so
I was
unsure before. But here's the thing I don't get. Why are they playing him so much anywhere other than shortstop? Are they thinking he's going to play somewhere else? I mean, I've seen him at third base a lot this year.
Yeah.
Are they thinking about putting Baez at short and him at third? I can't imagine that, but maybe.
Maybe. We'll talk about it here in a few minutes.
And then we're also going to have our regular feature with Al Fellhauer, who, first off tonight, we're gonna do our annual. We've never done our annual picks on the air since we left the air 20 years ago. So that'll be kind of fun tonight.
Very good.
And we're inviting you to join it to have your picks. And then also we're going to talk a little about what he's going to do this year with his power rankings and talk about where he gets those. So.
And he's back home. He's not stuck in a mountain somewhere.
He told me he was in South Dakota last week.
Yeah, I know.
In the middle of a blizzard.
Yeah.
I said, what did you go there for? Oh, man, okay. But baseball, our first Thursday night baseball this week's show, and of what we hope will be a long stream all summer.
Looking forward to it, my friend. All right, everybody. Well,
you done?
That's just
good job today, Ryan.
What do you think? Real quick. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No,
real quick, what do you think of the Spartans as they are, I think it's safe to say, up 69 to 48 with about 10 minutes left. I don't want to jinx it. Knock on wood. Give us your thoughts. What is the ceiling for this Michigan State men's basketball team in this tournament?
The ceiling is winning it all. They are one of 12. They are one of 12 teams that could win it all. I think they're that good. But what I think they will do is they have a really good chance of making the Elite Eight, and I definitely think they'll make the Sweet 16. So, but again, you don't know if the Michigan State team shows up that we've seen, like today in the second half, and we've seen at their best, they can beat anybody. But keeping that momentum throughout the whole playoffs or the whole tournament, that's the key. But yeah, I think and I'd love to see a Michigan State game for the third time this year, right? Third time, right? Because you know why? It's tough to beat a team 3 times.
And it would be a national title game.
Yep. It wouldn't be. No. They're I think they're the same bracket.
No. They would be.
They're both in Buffalo.
Yeah, they're both in Buffalo.
Well, they can't win it.
I think they could be.
No,
they're in different brackets. They're in different brackets. They're in different. Let's see.
Do I have that wrong?
You might. I
thought. Wait a minute. What am I? I thought everyone that played in the same venue is in the same bracket. Is that not right?
That's not right.
You know what? I forgot. They changed.
Stick to baseball, will you?
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
For God's sake.
So we'll talk about it. Yeah. We'll figure it out. But I think either one of those two teams has a chance to.
Michigan, I think Michigan has a great chance to win the whole thing this year. No question about it. All right.
Thanks, Rob.
Jim, we'll talk to you here in just a minute.
A few minutes.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure to tune in to baseball this week. We will be on the air live at around 6:15-ish. And, of course, you can listen to us on all your podcast platforms whenever you feel fit after the show as well. I want to thank everybody who tuned in today and listened during March Madness. A lot of choices you could have. I appreciate you tuning in. Whenever you do, make sure to check us out on our YouTube page as well, as My Ugly Mug has been on that all day today. Make sure to check that out. And you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up as well on Facebook. Would appreciate it. Jack Ebling, the host, the Hall of Famer, will be back in the chair, sort of, tomorrow. He will be hosting the show live from Buffalo. He will give us all the breakdown of this matchup, that Michigan State and North Dakota State, and probably give us a little bit of a preview of the upcoming matchup if everything stands correctly as of this moment. 69-48 with a little over 10 minutes left. Knock on wood that Michigan State can hold on and win this game, and they would face the Louisville Cardinal in the next round, who won earlier today in the NCAA tournament. Hopefully your madness has been fun today. Hopefully your brackets are not busted. And again, thank you everyone for listening today. I want to thank all my guests that joined me here today. Sean Belegian, Scott Moore, Dalton Shetler, of course, Jim Stark. Again, don't forget, just a few moments away from baseball this week with Jim Stark and myself. We'll talk everything baseball. Looking forward to it every Thursday from 6:15-ish for about an hour or so. So appreciate that. Look forward to that as well. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Really appreciate it. Happy March Madness, and we'll talk again soon. Make sure to tune in tomorrow as Jack Ebling will be back live on this show. Talk everything March Madness and Michigan State basketball and more. Have a great night, everybody. This is Boston Rob Bennett saying be kind to one another, and we will talk to you tomorrow.